32 FM 94.9.
Every day is another chance to do it all over again.
Get the best of starts on the break of dawn. 32 FM 94.9.
It's Saturday morning. Thank you so much for starting your day with us on 32 FM 94.9 Dugbe Ibadan. My name is Dele Adeoju and I'll be anchoring this edition of Break of Dawn Newspaper Review, the Saturday edition, the weekend edition, and the last for the week. You know that newspaper review runs from Monday through to Saturday every week on the station. Don't forget, we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube this morning. 32FM 949 Ibadan, that's our Facebook page. 32FM 949 Ibadan, that's our YouTube page. Like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel this morning. I bring you headlines from Daily Posts, from Punch, from the Daily Trust, from Premium Times, and of course from Guardian newspaper this morning. Lagos Police Rapid Response Squad take over Ojota after multiple accidents. That's a headline from the Daily Post newspaper. Also, police exhume corpse of kidnapped victim in Rivers community. Resident doctor strike. We are overstressed. Bauchi Specialists Hospital CMD cries out. Ekpeazu signs Abia Diaspora Bill into law. CSO calls for thorough investigation into alleged sexual assault involving Uniport lecturer student. Insecurity. Kaduna government postpones school resumption. Commence military operations. Boko Haram. ISWAP have resorted to cheap propaganda after defeat to Nigerian troops. Army. Zamfara. NAF jets destroy bandits camps. Kill 78 in 3-day strikes. 12 states. FCT get new police commissioners. Major shake-up. Chief of Army Staff begs Royal Father for support in tackling insecurity. Chief of Army Staff begs Royal Father for support in tackling insecurity. Ajishebutu is new Lagos Police PRO. Adejobi moves to Fort Headquarters. Sit at home again. Ohaneze begs IPOB to change strategy. Just a few more from the Daily Post newspaper this morning. I fought corruption better than Buhari. Ibrahim Babangida. Petroleum Minister Silva speaks on when fuel subsidy will be removed. And finally, from Daily Post, bankers convicted for stealing from dead customer. I move on to stories from the Punch newspaper this morning. Afenifere kicks as court demands 24 sureties for Igboho's associates bill. Southern groups lampoon IBB for defending June 12 annulment. And of course, Southwest interests Oni caucus to meet Obasanjo, showing Ka Olubadan, Alake, others. PDP crisis, House Secondos, Wike clashed at BOT meeting. Insecurity over 5,000 Kaduna schools remains shut amid military operations. Nigeria experiencing religious genocide under Buhari. That's according to a report. Nigeria experiencing religious genocide under Buhari. Rancorous congresses. Aggrieved members, their APC head to court. COVID-19, 275 prospective NYSC members test positive in Osun, Bauchi, Edo, others. Also, insecurity. Over 5,000 Kaduna schools remain shut amid military operations. To ensure dad died painfully, hoodlums broke his call, set him ablaze. Son of ASP killed in Akwa Ibom attack. Also, Benin monarch's wife gives birth to quadruplets. And police detained witnesses to my brother's shooting at Abuja Viewing Center. Kept CCTV footage. Sister of slain football enthusiast. More headlines from the Punch newspaper this morning. Police to arrest cops, military men riding Okada on Lagos highways. police to arrest cops, military men riding Okada on Lagos Highway. Also, executive, legislature, judiciary interface will enhance citizens' life quality. Fire me. I move on to some other stories now from Daily Trust newspaper. Corruption worse under democratic leaders. Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. Also, Kano rural masses prospering through farming. Andy Uba, validly elected candidate of APC, state chairman. Displaced Borno residents get 300 houses at Ngandu. Dollar videos, Ganduje yet to pay daily Nigerian publisher 800,000 naira fine. Mandatory, Kaduna extend school resumption. Ingige, I want my children who are doctors to stay away from this nonsense strike. Despite ban, open grazing thrives in FCT. Also, demolition. Christian youth stage protest in Maiduguri. Passenger demands refund compensation from Aricare over missing cash, and family buries policeman killed during Osun Bank robbery. Osun declares holiday to mark Hijra New Year. To Guardian newspaper now, anxiety over federal government's delay in unmasking terrorism financiers. Anxiety over federal government's delay in unmasking terrorism financiers. Nigerians tackle IBB over comments on 2023 poll, June 12. And World Breastfeeding Week. Mothers, experts weigh obstacles to proper breastfeeding, charts way forward. Also, Boko Haram ISWAP terrorists now resort to video propaganda, says Army. Also, Nigerians tackle IBB, I took that earlier. Boko Haram ISWAP terrorists now resort to video propaganda. INEC to deploy security app for Anambra poll. Those are headlines from the Guardian newspaper. PIB. Federal government to engage host communities after presidential assent. Lagos makes case for new electricity policy. Ignore IPOB sit-at-home order. Ohaneze urges Southeast residents. Just few more from the Guardian newspaper. AGF tasks CITN on government's revenue challenges. National Orientation Agency trains 37,000 fact-checkers to tackle fake news. And lastly here, Action Aid lauds federal government's commitment to raise education budgets. And from Premium Times newspaper, police inspector, 3 others killed as gunmen attack Imo police station. COVID-19, Nigeria records 29 deaths in 4 days as infections spread. 1 killed, 5 injured as land officials, church members clash in Maiduguri. Nigerian League NFF hands Rivers United CAF Champions League ticket ahead of Eimba. Investigation, armed and dangerous inside the Nderengta Intercontinental Cocaine Pipeline. That's a write-up there. And 24 soldiers killed in Boko Haram attack in Chad. Bandits kidnapped father of Zamfara Assembly Speaker, 5 others. Again, Nigerian Customs intercepts huge haul of pangolin skills. Residents decry poor water supply sanitation as cholera kills 295 in Jigawa, Kano. Don't forget you're live on Facebook and YouTube this morning, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page. 32FM 949 Ibadan. 32FM 949 Ibadan. Yes, we'll take a break for some messages. When we come back, I try to get on phone Austin Ijumo, who's going to analyze some of the stories we have this morning. Stay with us.
bọ́nà kan ò ṣe wọjà nígbà aṣẹ́ kan ò ṣe tó jẹ mọ́ lásìkò tá a wà yìí láti wá tètè gúnlẹ̀ sébùtì ògo láfiníká fọwọ́ wà fàjẹ̀wà pẹ̀lú multilevel marketing cooperative investment credit society limited ẹgbẹ́ alájẹsẹ́kù tí bá ní ìpìlẹ̀ ọ̀la ká lè bá tètè roko délé ajé lójú ọjọ́ pẹ̀lú kátàkárà lórí àwọn kò ṣe má ní ojoojúmọ́ bíi herbal food supplements àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ a jẹ́ pé gbogbo ẹni tó bá darapọ̀ mọ́ ẹgbẹ́ alájẹsẹ́kù multilevel marketing ni ó jàǹfààní ètò ẹ̀yáwó ọlọ́kan òjọ̀kan láti dáṣẹ́ tara wọn lẹ̀ bákan náà ni gbogbo ẹni tó bá darapọ̀ mọ́ wa pẹ̀lú owó wọn ni ó máa gba èrè gọbọi lóṣooṣù. Èyí kì í ṣe sogúndogójì o. Fún àlàyé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ ẹ kàn sí Multilevel Marketing Cooperative Investment Credit Society Limited lónìí ní Health Concern Building lẹ́bàá MRS Filling Station nítòsí Bishop Phillips Academy Iwo Road Ìbàdàn tàbí lọ́fíìsì wa tó wà ní Stanbic Bank Building Niger West Area Challenge Ìbàdàn. Ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ 090-5000-4816 090-5000-4816 pẹ̀lú Multilevel Marketing Cooperative Investment Credit Society Limited. Wàá roko délé ajé.
Gege Stanbic IBTC gang 909 gang wo it can be gang when you use 909 Gege send money via 909 gang. Buy airtime via 909 gang. Sub data via 909 gang. Pay bills via 909 gang. That's the 909 ash gang. Money miss fraud and no cash gang. How you go do birthday bash gang? That's the 909 ash gang. 909 is the gang code.
Join the star 909 hash gang today. Stanbic IBTC. It can be.
Who will rise from the ashes of postponement to claim their place among the greats? And will the greats rise again? Watch the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 on Supersport from the 23rd of July to the 8th of August. Watch them rise at all gold medal events on 8 dedicated channels. Get and stay connected to DSTV. Watch them rise on Supersport, your world of champions on DSTV.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us. 32 FM 94.9 Dugbe Ibadan. That's the station. And my name is Dele Adeyoju once again. Quickly, we move into the crux of this matter today. We have some major stories spreading across all the papers I read earlier. And of course, we're going to talk about those headlines. Austin Ijumu is on phone with me this morning. Hello, Austin. Good morning. Hello, good morning, Austin.
Yeah, Dele, good morning.
All right, good morning. How are you today? Happy weekend.
I'm fine today, thank you.
All right, we have some stories we have to quickly talk about, and I want your response as usual, as the analyst. I want us to start from this story about the military operations going on around in some parts of the north. At the moment, some bandits are being killed, like about 78 of them. Their hideouts identified, destroyed, and all that. Is the federal government just waking up, Austin?
Not really. There have always been military onslaught against this terrorist group in the northern part of the country. The major challenge we have had so far is the inability of the military to sustain bombardment simultaneously, because this is not the first time this will be coming, and the military, I think, must be commended. But they need to also change their modus operandi, because the terrorists, they are advancing almost on a daily basis, changing tactics from time to time to beat the military. How do I mean? When there is bombardment in Zamfara Forest, for example, there is tendency and the likelihood, and this has been the practice, of this bad element moving from that particular forest to forests around Niger State, to forests around Katsina State, especially those states that are contiguous to Zamfara State. So we look forward to a situation where there will be sustained and simultaneous military bombardment against this bad element in the forest. If that is done, we will be able to get a relief from this their dastardly act. Because if you do it a one-off thing, you go back, before you know it, the remnant, they will have to regroup again to coordinate, mastermind, and launch attack against innocent citizens.
Well, as it is now, Austin, it seems that this time around the stories are changing. Kaduna State, about 5,000 schools are still shut because the military operations is very high at the moment, and of course in Zamfara State, in a 3-day period, about 78 bandits have been killed and their camps destroyed. So as it is happening in Kaduna State, it's also happening in Zamfara and some other areas.
Yes, it must be sustained, like I said earlier. If we sustain it 3 days, look at the number of people that have been taken off. If we can do it for like 1 week or so or more, we'll be able to flush out this criminal element from our various forests and render them powerless against our people, most especially. So it's not new that the Nigerian military have always tried. They have been putting in their best. Of course, it shows, like we have also said earlier, that government is trying to look at other areas to explore in terms of political will to be able to deal with this situation. I am very optimistic that by the time we continue the sustained attack against them, in no distance time, we'll be able to get relief, especially from this forest. The forest must be out for them. The Nigerian military did it in Sambisa forest. And to a large extent, that is why we are having fragmentation of the Boko Haram element operating as bandits in some other areas, especially the northwestern part of the country. So the Nigerian military must sustain the tempo. We must keep the flag flying and ensure that the business of mass adoption of school children for ransom and what have you stop for
Kaduna State has given a directive that about 5,000 schools should remain shut, and they include public and private schools indefinitely till this issue of banditry and kidnapping is brought to the lowest minimum or even eradicated completely.
Yes, I think it's safer to shut school because it takes someone that is alive to be educated. So if schools have been shut to monitor the situation and ensure that there's military onslaught against these people, that will give parents and students assurance that, of course, they are not going to risk their life in the hands of this criminal elements in our country. So for me, I feel so strongly that we should go back to the era of the Safe School Initiative. Our schools must be safe. We might not be able to police all schools across the country. Look at the Greenfield University adoption, for example. That school is located around a very notorious road, a road that is almost taken over by bandits. So for me, let schools be shut for now, if that is possible. Then let's look for the possibility of stamping this out once and for all. Apart from the government officially coming out to say that schools are officially shut, I will tell you categorically clear that a lot of parents, they are not favorably disposed to their children or their words going to school at this particular point in time. So if this closure of school for the meantime will help us to politically address the issue, I think is a plan in the right direction.
All right. In other news, still talking about security, the IGP Usman Babas posted commissioners of police to 13 state commands, including the Federal Capital Territory. The spokesman of police said the appointment was for greater efficiency, internal security, stabilization, and renewed vigor in the fight against crime. So it's a major shake-up in the Nigerian police at the moment.
Yes, we actually saw this coming, and I think it's also good that it's coming at this particular point in time. That shake-up is a little bit massive. We want to see revigoration of security architecture, especially in some of the area where changes have been made. It shouldn't just be business as usual. And when such changes are made, there should be a template, a kind of performance indicator that within so months or so weeks, security situation must improve in the state. So it should not be a kind of change and we continue in business as usual. So for me, it's a routine exercise within the security formation. This time around, it has affected the Nigerian police. We want to see efficient policing structure. We want to see an enhanced policing system in some of the states that this has affected. I'm happy that this is not like the political way we do it. Maybe when election is approaching and we feel that some people cannot easily be approachable, then we change them. Let us change them for the purpose of enhancing security, for better security of lives and property in our various states across the country. So for me, I think the action of the police is a welcome development. Let there be a template within the office of the IGP to review how operational and how effective this will be in a matter of, say, 3 months, 6 months down the line. Because if you have a state that is ravaged by insecurity, you first of all look at the leadership of the police, especially in that state, and look for it. And once we deploy police commissioner, for example, I think one of the messages that should come from the center is that they must ensure that there is a cordial relationship and workability between the police officer that is coming in terms of the commissioner of police and the chief security officer of the state and the governor, because they must partner to ensure that security is delivered to the people wholesome in their various states across the country. So for me, I think the redeployment, the reshufflement is a welcome development. Let us see in the days ahead how this will enhance proper policing in our various states across the country.
And that brings to mind again when we have an Hausa man posted to the south where he doesn't even understand the language of Yorubas, and he doesn't even understand the terrain of the land. Or maybe when a Yoruba man is posted up north, where we still have all these issues.
Yes, it boils down to the issue of community policing, where you have to have policing structure, personnel within their various locality. That will solve to a large extent insecurity situation that we find ourselves in the country. Various communities, they are supposed to understand the terrain. They are supposed to police in areas where they know, because a lot of time there are issues of biases and what have you as far as this current structure is concerned. But I think it's a matter of time. We are gradually looking at the issue of restructuring. Don't also forget regional policing somehow are springing up here and there across the country. We need a police structure that at the end of the day, local police personnel will be familiar with the terrain and with the area in terms of accommodation and knowing the routes and the terrain, the people so well, so as to be able to guarantee effective policing structure in the state. So for me, somebody that is in the Ibadan, for example, do not really know what is going on in Iseyin. And if you have police officers who are from Iseyin, deploy to Iseyin to give security to their people, it will be very difficult. This arson, killing and maiming of police officers across the country will not be there, because you know that the various officers are members of your own community, and you wouldn't want to leech your people, you wouldn't want to kill your people, you wouldn't want to destroy your people. But today in Nigeria, community policing is still a mirage. The closest thing I feel we can get is state policing, which will also help to a large extent to address the insecurity situation that we have in the country. So
all right,
we are getting there day by day.
All right.
Restructuring will solve the problem entirely.
All right. In other news, let's talk about petroleum subsidy. Minister of State for Petroleum, Mr. Timi Presilva, has said that Nigerians will soon be told the date petrol subsidy removal will be effective. Silva explained that the federal government does not currently have a specific date for the subsidy removal, adding that it wants to put first some measures in place to cushion the effects the policy will have on Nigerians. Now we heard that government still pays a subsidy. So when subsidy eventually is removed, is the refinery in place? Are all the necessary things in place? When are we likely to have this? What is going to be the effect on the average Nigerian? Austin?
Yes, for now, economically speaking, the effect will be devastating. However, too, subsidy payment is no longer sustainable as far as shortfall in government revenue is concerned. We must come to the economic reality in the sense that subsidy, the amount that is being paid on subsidy today in Nigeria is more than the amount that is meant to service the primary health sector in the country. So it is counterproductive for us as a people. Then how do we move forward, for example? Like Timi Presilva has just said, I think I will need to commend him for the first time. You don't build something on nothing. You have to provide an enabling structure. You have to provide a kind of social services that can cushion the effect of the ripple effect of subsidy removal in the country. It's just like when you want to stop your child from breastfeeding, for example, you don't just get to the dead of the night and tell the child, you can no longer take breast, and the child will begin to disturb the entire neighborhood. You have to make alternate arrangement. It's a pity that we are talking about this at this particular point in time. Let's forget about the military era. But this current republic, we have spent over 20 years broken democratic tendency. It's a shame on the successive administration in this country that as we speak now, we do not have a functional refinery. We must enhance the capacity to refine locally before we can remove subsidy. If that is not put into consideration, life will become economically unbearable for an average Nigeria. Because the whole idea of total deregulation is that products will now be determined by market forces. If products are determined by market forces, I think it's also very much unacceptable, a situation where we export crude out of the country and we now buy refined product with forests into the country again. So if we are able to refine locally, that will start addressing the situation that we have on ground. Then let government also look at other area of social services. That is one of the areas that is killing the people in the country today. We have a lot of things that people spend money on. We provide for our own security, we pay for our own education, we pay for our own health, we pay for nearly everything. And the government want to talk about removal of subsidy. So like Timmy Presiva has come to the realization of the fact that you can't just remove subsidy by fiat. You have to put some measure in place that will serve as mitigating effect of the subsidy removal of the people, because what it means is that if market forces will determine the price of PMS will go as far as maybe 300 or 500 naira, for example. But if you provide electricity for the people, for example, it will mean that the idea of generating power through PMS or what have you, that ordinarily would be eliminated, because statistics have shown that secondary user of PMS are even more than the primary user.
Yes.
Primary user are those, for example, who may have car or what have you.
But Austin, some economies are actually looking at phasing out the use of PMS in the next 10 years, having 50% of their cars running on electricity.
Yes, we also look in that direction too. That is why the basin sharing formula that the PIP just accommodated is just like, where are we in the global scheme of things as a country? Because we have to look at it. Some people are already looking at clean energy, fossil fuel, and what have you, electric car. Of course, a station has been commissioned in Lagos. It's a gradual process. We can't run on some of these things except we build our energy structure, energy infrastructure in the country. First of all, we have to make electricity readily available for the people of the country before we talk about all of this. If we can't provide electricity, for example, how then do we now talk about electric cars and what have you? So it's a gradual process. What the Nigerian government needs to do is to first of all put measures in place to look at the possibility of subsidy removal in such a way that it will not further impoverish the people. Then globally, we'll now move with the trend to say, in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, we'll begin to migrate. Don't also forget, technologically, we are always behind as far as the global community is concerned. But on fuel subsidy, now that the government has realized that, certain measures need to be put in place. For example, if you also look at it, look at the number of people that will have to go out with their cars on a daily basis. What happened to public transportation system wherein you can be anywhere and be transported without necessarily having to take out your car or bring out your car? Report has it that over 90% of New Yorkers, people that live in New York, they don't have their private cars. they live on public transportation system. So these are areas of social services.
Okay.
I think the government can improve
All right.
to actually make life more meaningful for the people, even with subsidy removal.
All right. Austin, in the next 10 days, former military president Ibrahim Babangida will be 80. It was in the news. It made the news just, I think, yesterday or thereabout. And we're going to talk about some high points of his declarations and his opinion about the situation of the country when we come back after this break.
ojú rẹ̀ ṣàǹjọ̀lọ̀ lójoojúmọ́ kí làṣírí ẹ wà rí.
Veneton cleanser ni.
jámi sí ọ̀rẹ́.
Veneton cleanser egbòogi àtẹ́jẹ̀ṣe tí bádọ̀tí ara wọ̀ yá ìjà rẹ̀ wọ́n mọ́lẹ̀ ṣe wọ́n yẹbẹyẹbẹ. inú tó ń kú tó ń dàrú gbòdògbòdò kò bára rẹ̀ èrí inú ẹ̀jẹ̀. amọ̀nà ti dé o. Veneton cleanser egbòogi àtẹ́jẹ̀ṣe tí a fi ewé àti egbò ṣe ní ọ̀nà tìgbàlódé. NAFDAC fòǹtẹ̀lù MA1 Nigeria Limited ni wọ́n gbé Veneton cleanser jáde. a wà ní nọ́mbà 17 ọba akínyẹlé off Adeogun Street Aláàfin Avenue Olúyọ̀lé Estate Ring Road Ìbàdàn. Telephone 08034051533 fún títà àti rírà. ìwọ náà darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Veneton cleanser àmọ̀tẹ́kùn egbòogi tí ń ya gbogbo kòkòrò inú ẹ̀jẹ̀ wẹ́lẹ́wẹ́lẹ́.
Here, we are all champions. With 2 months Showmax Pro for the price of one, you can stream all of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games and more. Witness history in the making and salute the power of the human spirit. Here, we honor every story in every event. Let's celebrate together with 2 months for the price of one. Stream the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 live from Supersport on Showmax Pro. Sign up to watch world-class sports, series, movies, and more at showmax.com today.
Charles!
Yes, mommy?
Go and bring 2 sachets of hypo bleach for me.
Why 2?
Because I'm using one to soak the whites and using one to kill all the germs.
But I can't see any germs here.
They are so tiny you can't see them. But they are there. And that is why I trust only hypo bleach to kill them all.
Make your white fabrics whiter and your household free of illness causing germs and viruses with the disinfecting power of hypo bleach.
All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. We have the time 26 minutes before 7 o'clock. Don't forget 10 to 7 is checkout time on the program this Saturday. Adegoke Show, I got a message on Facebook, and of course, Omotolani Abiola, Adeni Kolawoli Adedeji, Oladeji Kayode Adekunle. I got a message on Facebook. You can join us on Facebook too, 32FM949 Ibadan on Facebook, and of course on YouTube this morning. Yes, Austin, I was talking about Ibrahim Babangida, who will turn 80 in the next 10 days. Yesterday, he made an interview with Rice TV, and issues came from that interview. I watched the interview, and this morning reactions are coming. But let's pick it one after the other. Just briefly, we'll talk about it before we open the phone lines. Yes, one of the things he spoke about, he said he fought corruption better than Buhari. He said at a time he sacked a governor for embezzling 13,000 naira, but he said billions of people who stole billions today are working freely. What's your response to that?
Yes, the dynamics has changed and the situation is not entirely the same. Yeah, you can't compare the military administration to a civilian administration 100%. There are certain challenges as far as both administrations are concerned. If you talk about the cost of governance, for example, under the civilian administration, the cost of governance tends to be more. But in terms of corruption in Nigeria, I think there are setbacks as far as civil administration is concerned, because no matter how corrupt you are, as an accused person, the law makes provision for you to be protected until at the end of the day you are proven guilty. Under the military administration, some of these things are done by fiat. So for me, it is not justiciable at all, and it is not a situation you can directly compare.
Okay.
How then did the military administrations in Nigeria fail to provide a template, a robust template on which governance can stand in the country. They also contributed to the woes in the country today. In terms of corruption, military also institutionalized corruption in the country today. So these are the issue. But under military administration, for example, everybody might not be able to get corrupt under the system because they are afraid of the Supreme Military Council. But the head of state, look at the amount of billions of naira that Abacha has looted out of the country, for example. That was under a military administration. No civilian administration can do that. Maybe the president alone or what have you. There is corruption in ministry, MDA and what have you. But to say that corruption is worse under military administration, under civilian administration, I don't think that is entirely correct.
All right, let's look at some other things he spoke about, Austin.
The court can decide to discharge and acquit you.
Let's look at other things he spoke about. While responding to the question of annulment of the election, he said that if he had not annulled the election, there would have been a coup, a violent coup. And the interviewer asked him that, was the coup supposed to come from the military? He said from inside the military and, of course, from outside the military. That was just the answer he gave, and a lot of people have been lampooning him since yesterday.
Yes, if Nigeria were to be a sane country, people like IBB would have been behind the bar for the annulment of the people's mandate during the June 12 presidential election. The acclaimed freest and most credible election in the history of the country, where Nigeria for the first time had to vote, put religion and ethnic apart to vote. And IBB had the guts to annul that particular election. And several years later, he's telling us about a violent coup that could erupt if he had allowed the election to stay. He put in an interim national government before he left the office, NS Shonekon. I hope you still remember.
Yes.
Abacha, what did Abacha do to the interim arrangements? What happened after was a coup. Abacha violently overthrew NS Shonekon.
Maybe Babangida was scared of Abacha.
So for me, Babangida has no excuse. He annulled June 12th. If he had allowed that election to stay and the winner at that time sworn in as president, probably we might not be where we are today. So it shows that the Nigerian project is not working. Anybody can just do anything and get away with it. I'm sure if Abacha were to be alive today, he probably might be contesting as president or might be one of the other statesmen that people will go to before they can win election in the country.
You mean Abacha, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's quite unfortunate that Babangida had to come out at this time. We wish him well for being alive to witness his 80th birthday, but that does not mean that he had to insult the collective intelligence of the people of this country. He has done so badly by annulling the June 12th presidential election, and by that alone, he has set the country back by several decades. So he has no excuse, he has no reason. He talked about violent coup. What happened to the NSO administration was like a palace coup by the Sonny Abacha.
But let's not forget. Let's not forget, Austin, that the Shonekon administration was declared illegal by a court at that time.
Yes, these are the issues. But because Abacha came in and he was so greedy, he had to arrest MQ Abiola after declaring himself the president almost the following year. If he had done that as quickly as the annulment took place, maybe another dynamics will have been introduced to it. So these are the issues. He set us back by annulling the June 12th election.
And he also said somebody who will be president of Nigeria should be in his 60s. And Nigerians are saying that age does not determine the ability of anyone to be a good leader.
Of course, age does not determine the ability of anyone entirely to be a good leader. But then age matters. It matters. But I don't think those that are operating in Nigeria today are doing so badly as a result of their age. Because if you are old, for example, you put in people that can deliver on that mandate. Then let us also talk about the antecedent of these individuals before they become very old. Some of them are people that have always operated below 50% of their capacity. So if you are old, of course, your ability to react to issue might be slowed down, but that does not take away your intelligence. That does not take away your mental capacity, for example. So I don't want to agree that age is a major factor.
All right.
Like I said earlier, it's a factor, but it's not the major factor. There's nobody that does not know what is right to be done.
We open the phone lines now.
Who have been very old all across the world.
We open the phone lines now. 0705 5949 0809 7949. Adegoke Sheung on Facebook, you said the military should continue the operation for years and gather more intelligence until all this is brought to an end. Hello, good morning. All right, we're still reading headlines. Of course, we are taking comments on Facebook and on YouTube. 32FM 949 is the station. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Daily. This is Comrade Omololu.
Good morning, Comrade.
From Agbo. In the respect of the human job being carried out by the military against the terrorist group, I refer to it as being human service to the country. But the military officer who are executing the duty, the statutory duty, should exercise it in compliance with constitutional provision. They should please respect. I would plead and beg them again, respect the fundamental rights, the statutory rights of everyone in that vicinity, so that they will carry out the job excellently. And the government should please make sure that the welfare of this military officer gets to them in time. Because it will be an injustice for you to employ this military officer to carry out this duty and you deny them or you deprive them of the necessary welfare. If there is any military officer who maybe one way or the other looting or depriving them of their welfare, to be sanctioned so that this military officer will not use the official instrument against the state they are serving again. And whoever may be at the order of power who are loyal to this terrorist should be forced out straight away. Thank you. I'm very tired, Gwadi.
Tayo is good, sir. Thank you so much for calling. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Daily.
Good morning, okay.
Yeah, my brother. Yes, the evil genius has just spoken. Really, I actually feel somebody like him should not have talked. Like Austin said, people like that are very evil genius, should have been behind bars for what he did. But we still allow that. For the military, that's actually where I'm going. I think I am really proud of them for the bombardment. And like Austin said, they should fire it up more. We are looking even with the little resources and the things we see they use. Yet, we just want them to continue it and let's see. We need to get out of this insecurity. It is one too many. Good morning, my brother.
Thank you, okay, for calling. Austin, we're talking about, now we're responding to what IBB just said on his 80th, but it's been like this is the first time it will be coming all out to talk about the reason he annulled that election.
Yes, he has always talked about reasons he annulled that election. I think this issue of preventing a violent coup is coming, if I'm not mistaken, the very first time. I stand to be corrected anyway. I think this is the very first time I will take note, and it's also very loud that IBB is talking about annulling the June 12th presidential election just to prevent a violent coup. A lot of Nigerians will disagree with him. That excuse is not tenable. I do not think there's any good excuse to have been used to annul that particular election.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Mr. Maker from Aditya. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I disagree with Austin. The former head of state knew why he annulled that election. You as a civilian, you you don't know what is going on. For you now to be telling us that it's not what it's supposed to be. I think I agree. Good morning.
All right, thank you. Good morning. He said, as civilians, we don't know what is actually or what happened in the military circle. Now, I said something earlier that maybe he was trying to, maybe Babangida was scared of Abacha. Maybe Abacha had the military apparatus in his hands, which Babangida, even as the head of government, never had. Just an excuse. Hello.
Well, there's no excuse.
Hello, good morning. Happy weekend.
We have a call. We have a call, Austin. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
This is John Olarwaju from Madgo.
You're welcome, sir.
On the issue of military, kudos to them. So, and we pray that God will give them more strength to fight them. But as far as I'm concerned, I think I will not totally agree that bombarding these people that should be the best solution. No, we need intelligent issue. I mean, to also employ into this fighting these bandits. We need to arrest those that sponsor them. How they are getting the food. The food they were using, we need to go through all these things so that we are able to apprehend those that sponsor these people. If you only kill them alone, you cannot totally eradicate them because they have done it in the past and then they still exist. That's what they need to do. On the issue of IBB, I have heard it very well about this where the military will do the coup. And they even talk about those from southern part of Nigeria that there are some there that told him that he should not give power to IBB. I have read him interview before. But all the same, to me, like Justin said and other people, that this kind of person needs to just silence. The best thing to him to do is to silence because he has done a great harm to this nation and he has part of the problem that you are facing today. About whether you talk about the age, yes, the age is very important. Look at Mr. President now. Even those that those that we know that he wanted to become the president, as the news we are hearing about him, that about his head, is not okay. So let us have a young one that are very intelligent. Thank you and good morning.
All right, thank you, John Olaniwaju, and that's going to be the last call. Austin, we have to go. Time is not our friend any longer. We cannot just overflog that IBB issue. We're going to have reactions and more reactions and more reactions. Austin, thank you so much for your time with us. And I want to say happy birthday to you, Austin Idumo. I don't know what your age is now, but I pray that you age with grace. More energy, more money, more brain, more intelligence, more everything to you, Austin Idumo. Happy birthday from us, Air at 32 FM.
Thank you. Thank you, Dele. I'm very grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
All right, it's time to wrap up on the show this morning, and the program returns on Monday, 6 a.m. Up next is Pastor Keji's package. Stay with us.
Welcome to another edition of Equipping the Saints with Pastor KG Ajayi. May you be richly blessed as you listen.
Hi there. Welcome to another edition of Equipping the Saints. I'm your host KG Ajayi. And by God's grace today we continue our series on divine relationship.